So what we've got here is a pretty basic formation by the Lions, excuse my lion symbol there. They like to spread the ball out, get as many of their top weapons on the field as they possibly can. In this particular case, you've got Titus Young, Nate Burleson, and over here, Brandon Pettigrew, right off tackle here where he can either block or go out, Calvin Johnson. Now, quite often they'll have a guy like Kevin Smith here in the backfield. They may also have him split wide somewhere. In this particular case, I have him in the backfield. Of course, then, Matt Stafford. Now, what this does is it stretches out the Niners defense, and again, pardon the bad pickaxe. It spreads out the Niners defense, makes it harder for them to focus on any one thing. The Niners faced this a little bit with the Green Bay Packers last week, and this is how they were able to overcome it, specifically on one play where Aaron Rodgers was sacked. Now, what they did was they took one of the linebackers and they removed him. A lot of times it was actually Patrick Willis, but sometimes Navarro Bowman as well. They pulled him off and they put in a defensive back as an extra linebacker. Sometimes they'd move him into a third safety or a third corner, but in this particular scenario, this was Parrish Cox and he was a linebacker. They liked the mobility and the hard-hitting aspect of him. They felt that they were a little better in coverage than the linebackers they had. So, why this worked really well, okay? In this particular case, when Aaron Rodgers, let's picture this is all green, Aaron Rodgers saw Cox there, he naturally assumed that he was going to be over the guy here. So what that allowed them to do was, as soon as the ball was snapped, Cox came in to hit Rodgers, and the safety up here came down and covered this guy there. So the Niners are going to try and disguise this the same way. You know the Lions are going to have seen this on film, but this is what the Niners are hoping to accomplish here. The same similar thing. So on the play, what they're assuming is that you'll have Young go out, probably pretty deep. Quite common with the Lions is Burleson will go underneath or sometimes on a crossing route this way. Now the assumption for the Lions is that this guy here, in this scenario, is Cox, could be any number of people, is going to pick up Burleson right there. But that's not what's going to happen. Because as I said, the safety is going to come down, pick him up, and our guy is going to come in this way for a straight shot at Stafford. Now, on this side, of course, you probably have Pettigrew coming out. The linebacker will pick him up. Now, Pettigrew could go across this way or deep that way. Something that the Lions did quite a bit in their last game against the Rams is bring them underneath to try and take some coverage away from Calvin Johnson. Now, what this will do is force Stafford to move out and roll out a little quicker. It's something that he didn't do early on in the game against the Rams. When they adjusted later, the Lions were able to get him on a roll. They were most effective when they pulled him out of the pocket, had him bootleg one way or the other, and then hit his receivers. But what this accomplishes for the 49ers is to get some pressure from the outside and disguise it and try and hit him on the blind side as well. Now, the way that the Lions could counter this is to either, of course, move our friend Kevin Smith over here or move 87, Pettigrew, over there. Try and block that. But of course, what that allows to have happen is something similar. The safety can come up, this linebacker shifts over, all these linebackers shifts over, and this linebacker ends up over here, potentially with a free shot at Stafford this way. So this is what the Lions are going to have to face. It worked very well for the 49ers against the Packers. Now we're going to flip the script and see what the Lions can do on defense and how the 49ers can overcome that.